Here we are in 2023 talking about online misogynistic abuse. In the age where you can change your gender, you want to make a law that specifically targets only one gender? I mean, at this point, I will identify as a woman online, and therefore, I cannot be misogynistic. But no, seriously, this is a question that requires answering. Why are you only going to tackle misogynistic abuse if you want to tackle abuse? Why can't you just tackle abuse in general? Oh, is it because then you're going to find out that some women may have to pay fines? And according to this law, some women might even go to prison. It is shocking, but yes, women are capable of online abuse. If you don't believe me, just find an ushikushi lady that's competitive and play some League of Legends with her. You're going to see what I mean. And like when she starts abusing people, you're going to be like, whoa. But of course, the law isn't about protecting people about misogyny or anything like that, especially on the internet where everyone is equal. I mean, all you have is a keyboard, you do the clickety clack, and you have literally the same power as everyone else. You can take Muhammad Ali and myself, separate us by an ocean, give us both a keyboard, and all of a sudden I can talk shit to his face. But okay, fine. As I mentioned before, the law isn't about targeting misogyny. It's about ending encryption, and it's about giving the government the power to see what you are typing in the privacy and sanctity of your own bedroom. And this is what's very interesting. See, in my country, and I'm pretty sure in many other legislations, the sanctity of the mail is very important. Like my wife, and I'm not kidding, but my wife can go to prison if she reads my emails without my permission. There is actually a law in the Romanian Penal Code which prevents people from reading someone else's mail. Why is this a thing? It's a thing because our ancestors, right, like your grandparents basically, they decided that privacy is important. That in order to live in a healthy and democratic society, certain rules about privacy are paramount. So they gave up their safety, right? Because like you can have someone that says very dangerous and harmful things in their correspondence or sends dangerous and harmful packages to one another, but they decided that that is worth the risk if the trade-off is that you're going to get privacy. Because at the end of the day, the only way to crack down on this would be to make sure that everybody that sends a letter or that sends a package would have to get someone from the government in order to look at what they send. And that actually used to happen under communism, under dictatorships, under authoritarian regimes. The government didn't trust its citizens, so it had to scan every single letter, every single package, in order to guarantee the safety, not for the public, but mostly for the government. So we are going back to that, it seems. This is why I even made this, because like when people in Romania think about the United Kingdom, they think about, oh, well, it's a free, just society that respects the laws and the privacy of the individual. But it seems that that's not the case. Like they are trying to figure out how to get into social media, how to see your letters, how to see what you talk in private. And in order to do this, it's to save the children, to protect the women, of course. When, again, on the internet, everybody is equal. Like, there is nothing that I can do online that a woman cannot do. Unless, of course, she studies coding and becomes a super hacker. But we're not talking about that. So, look at this, right? This is a cross-party group of lords led by the former culture secretary, Baroness Morgan. I love the name. It does sound like the name of someone whose looming gaze is upon you, isn't it? Baroness Morgan. Like, tell me, Baroness Morgan, what happened to you online? Did you play some Dota and some teammates were a little bit aggressive? They issued some naughty words and you went, oh, see, I will show Skullfuck 47. You call me a noob? Oh, well, I'm going to use the power of the legislative to crack down on you, boy. Wait, I'm going to make a riot be forced to crack down on you. So Baroness Morgan is proposing a new amendment to the online safety bill, which, as you can notice, keeps growing, keeps expanding, which would legally require social media firms to prevent the online abuse and violence against women and girls. Well, I'm glad it's not just women, right? Like, if you're a girl, you do not get any protection until you turn 18. The amendment of the bill, which is due to debate on Tuesday, is backed by Tory and Labour and the liberal Democrats. See, everyone wants to spy on you, because as we're going to see what the bill actually does, it does nothing remotely akin to safety. It only does something akin to spying. Companies who fail to remove misogynistic content would face fines up to 10% of their global turnover. So it's very interesting, right? Because the last time I checked, Zuckerberg doesn't have law enforcement as one of his credentials, right? So you want like all of these unelected, unrepresentative, billion-dollar corporations to do law enforcement. That's what you want to do, right? Like you, the government, cannot use your money properly to have like a police force that actually handles the online crime, and you want Zuckerberg to do it for you, who's untrained, that doesn't know anything about law enforcement. Very interesting. Omoshiroi. Bosses could even be jailed up to 2 years if the legal changes take place, which would treat online violence and abuse against women and girls in the same way as illegal child sexual abuse and terrorist content. This is like equating the punishment for a paper cut with that of a gunshot wound. Both are awful. Like, I'm not saying I want to live in a society where people run with papers trying to paper cut me. Right? There should be a punishment about that. But I think like it shouldn't be similar to that of child sexual abuse and terrorist content. I think like these two differ a little bit in magnitude. Also, I would like to see the United Kingdom arrest Zuckerberg. Like, that would be very interesting. How would they even get to him? Like, he's an American citizen. What if America doesn't want to turn him over? Will they have like an arrest warrant for him? And it will be like, hey, Zuckerberg, if you ever step foot in the UK again, you can face 2 years up to jail prison. Last year, minister rejected classing misogyny as a hate crime, and instead the government compromised by creating a new offense of public sexual harassment. So I want to talk about the idea of online misogyny. It's kind of like online misogynistic behavior, seeing a hipster in Starbucks. Way too common, always inappropriate, but let's get a sense of proportion here. Like, you're actually wanting to send people 2 years in prison for it? Again, the paper cut analogy. And here you have like the meat of the bill and why they are doing it. This could mean doing away with end-to-end encryption, a security feature which scrambles messages to ensure that only the sender and the recipient can read them. This is what modern-day politicians literally cannot handle. The concept that two adults, two citizens, can talk with each other without the politician knowing what they're talking about. So they're using social media as police deputies, if you will, to police your speech online. Right? So the terms of service, which already apply to the public things that you're posting. So if you post something on your Facebook wall, if you post something on your Twitter, those aren't enough anymore. Now they want to make sure that what you're posting on Discord, what you're posting in private messages, they want to get a piece of that. Now you can't listen to what Morgan posts, right? Like what Baroness Morgan posts on her DMs and on her communications. No, that's unthinkable, right? But this is the mentality. The government should spy on you. You should never spy on the government. Like, no transparency whatsoever. And this is the definition of tyranny, right? Like, when you are able to have a transparent government, that's democracy. When the government gets to spy on you, that's tyranny. But the UK government is currently considering new legislation that opens the door, trying to force technology companies to break end-to-end encryptions on private message service, it reads. The law could give an unelected official the power to weaken the privacy of billions of people around the world. We don't think any company, government, or person should have the power to read your personal messages, and will continue to defend encryption technology. Apparently the article doesn't actually say who said this. I assume it's someone from the government, in which case the gal of these people is like, we don't think any company, government, or person should have the power to read your personal messages. Yet they propose a bill that's like a pipping Tom on steroids. It's like, hey, I don't think anyone should break into my home, but let me just give you the keys, the alarm code, and a detailed floor plan. Makes sense, right? Online privacy is as essential as that little lock to your bathroom door. It's like someone saying, hey, like if you don't have anything to hide, why do you use it? Now, the reason that this is important, because a lot of people say, well, this is in the UK, how does it affect me? Well, most of these social media companies, they can make the changes that are going to influence worldwide, right? Like if they can deal away with the encryption, they can say, well, the UK is forcing us, so what can we do? And then they can deal away with the encryption in other countries, if not other countries even pass similar legislation. So this is very concerning for anyone that wants to have online safety. But let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.